I woke up a little after midnight with a thought in my head going, the 60s were filled with cheap posters that were just screen printed or lithographs with just a few colors, and they used these gaudy, awful, clashing colors, like this. And I tried to get back to sleep, and then I heard Steve Jobs in my head saying, "Real artists ship." And he was referring to everybody has ideas, but you gotta deliver. Eventually, you have to produce something. Well, you know how this week has gone. You know the technical difficulties we've had since the beginning of school. You know the client changed their minds Wednesday night, and we had to rethink where we were heading. So, we're not going to come up with the ultimate finished product today, but we are going to come up with something that they can say, yeah, something like that. And then we can have next week to work on refining these. So I've got something really ugly. I played around with something at school today a little bit, and then I'm going to show you. But I had videos walking you through taking your Illustrator art into Photoshop, downloading a background, using smart objects. It would have been chaos. Plus, it's not what they're looking for. You know what they're looking for? They're looking for ugly. You want ugly? I give you ugly. There we go. This is just plain text. And if I click on this, over in the properties panel, you can see this says warp flag. And if I click on that, up pops the warp options where you can play with it. You can find warp, you just select your text and come up to affect warp, and I used flag. Okay, because I wanted, there's more. And should we use bulge? Should we try different things? All I got to tell you is when you use these, you need to dial them back. The defaults are usually way too much. So yeah, I'd like to try something different here and maybe bulge that and maybe try something different down here. And why did I pick these colors? Because they're in the complementary range, which means clashing, which means vibrating, which means you're breaking the rules of good design. But the 60s was all about breaking rules, breaking norms, doing things that the status quo didn't, well, let's just say there was a little conflict in the 60s, a little social conflict, kind of like now, only it was all about peace and love, not politics. Well, yeah, I was involved too. So anyway, get ugly. And I know, I'm not asking you to get, just do that. So the background here is, a solid color. You know how to make a solid color background and drop it behind your text. I'm not telling you to go pink and green. And are you stuck with two colors? No, but I think 3 would be the most. I wouldn't go beyond that. That would just be too crazy. Contrast. Think contrast. If some of your text pops and the rest of it doesn't, you don't have enough contrast. That's the difference between light and dark. And so, yeah. Oh, this is embarrassing. But I think this is towards the direction they're looking. I'm going to keep working on this, and I'll probably replace this at some point. Maybe. I don't know. I need some sleep. I can't get up at midnight and get through the day. All right. So speaking of time to get real, because we're real artists in the Mac Lab, we have a 3-day weekend. It's a Friday. Do something. Now that you're a real artist, that you delivered on a project, hey, it's a deadline. You got to turn over something. You can't just say, nah, too hard. Do something to make the world a better place. No, that's too hard. Little things, they add up. Little things. Hold a door open. Smile. Don't give that smart aleck response that you wanted. Take out the garbage. pick up your dirty clothes, wash the dishes. So easy to do little things.